Hello students, welcome to Vihira Academy. I am your educator Dr. Hina Devnani and today we are going to study chapter number 2 of 11th standard biology. The name of the chapter is biological classification. We have already studied first and second part of this chapter in which we have done kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. Today we are going to study the third part of the chapter which includes kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You all might have observed that if you keep your bread outside the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days, you find white or green or purple spots on it. That is nothing but the fungus. Sometimes the fruits that are kept outside the fridge for a longer time get rotten and they develop white color fiber like hair like structures. These are also the fungus. Sometimes fungus also infect mustard leaves. You might have observed white color spots on the mustard leaves. The mushroom that you eat and the toadstools, these are also fungus. There are some fungi which are unicellular and they are also beneficial. For example, yeast. Yeast is used to make bread and beer. There are some other fungi which actually cause diseases. Right, Puccinia? Puccinia is a wheat rust causing fungus. Now, there are certain other fungi which are the sources of antibiotics. For example, Penicillium notatum. Penicillium notatum is used for producing penicillin, that is an antibiotic. So, fungi, you can see that they show great diversity. They have different functions. Sometimes they are beneficial, sometimes they are harmful. Fungi are cosmopolitan, that means they can occur everywhere, including air, water, soil, on the animals and plants, even in the animals and plants. Usually, they prefer warm and humid places. That's why we keep the food inside the refrigerator. And if the food is kept outside the refrigerator, then what will happen? Fungi will develop. Fungi can also develop on certain other objects like leather bags, leather shoes, even on cardboards, sometimes also on the walls. In the kingdom fungi, yeasts are unicellular. Apart from yeast, mostly all the other fungi are multicellular and they are present in filamentous form. The body of the fungi is known as mycelium. Now, mycelium has many long, slender extensions which appear as white colored fibers, thin thread like structures which are known as hyphae. Mycelium can also be considered as the network of those hyphae. So, we can say that the body of fungi is the mycelium and it has hair like structures called hyphae. These hyphae are actually present there for the absorption of the cellular material when a fungi infects an organism. The mycelium stays outside the body, outside the cells, whereas the hyphae enter in different cells to absorb the materials from that cell. Now, these hyphae can be of two types. Either they can be septate or they can be aseptate. In septate type of hyphae, cross walls or septa are present in the entire cylindrical structure of the hyphae. Whereas in aseptate, the entire hyphae is not having any types of walls in it. Now in aseptate, because they are not having any walls or any separations, this aseptate hyphae is actually multinucleated. Multinucleated can also be called as cenocytic hyphae. Cenocytic means they have more than one nuclei in the entire cell. Mostly the fungi are heterotrophic and they absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates, and that's why they can be called as saprophytes. Those fungi that depend on other living plants and animals can be called as parasites. Now, the fungi can also live in association with other organisms. That means they can have symbiotic relationship. If they are present with algae, they are called as lichens, and if they are present in the roots of higher plants, they can be called as mycorrhiza. So these are the different habitats and different nutrition types of fungi. That's why I said earlier that fungi can be present in different habitats, and they show a lot of diversity. Now talking about the reproduction in fungi, fungi can carry out reproduction in three manners. First is vegetative reproduction, second is asexual reproduction, and third is sexual reproduction. The vegetative reproduction in fungi occurs by budding, fragmentation, and fission. Asexual reproduction is carried out by forming spores, and the spores are known as conidia, zoospores, or sporangiospores. The sexual reproduction occurs by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. The various spores are produced in distinct bodies which are called as fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle in fungi is carried out in three steps. In the first step, there is fusion of protoplasms between gametes. The gametes can be motile and non-motile. These two gametes will combine with each other and they will exchange their protoplasms, or they will fuse their protoplasms. So here, because there is a fusion of protoplasm, this step is called as plasmogamy. In the second step, the nuclei of both these cells will combine together and they will fuse with each other. So this step is known as karyogamy. After karyogamy, the cell that is formed can be called as zygote. Now this zygote will undergo meiosis to form haploid spores. When a fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of the compatible mating types actually come together and they fuse. And these two compatible hyphae can be considered as the gametes. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells will immediately result into a diploid cell. And in some other fungi, for example Ascomycetes and Basidomycetes, there will be an intervening dikaryotic stage. That is, two nuclei in one cell will be produced. And this stage or this condition can be considered as a dikaryon. And the phase is known as dikaryophase of a fungus. And later on they will carry out karyogamy. That means the nuclei will fuse and the cell will become diploid, or we can say a diploid zygote is formed. Now the third step will occur. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, that is meiosis occurs, and then there will be formation of haploid spores. The morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation, and fruiting bodies form the basis for the division of the kingdom into various classes. Before moving into the classification of kingdom fungi, let us have a look at this diagram. This diagram shows the fungi life cycle. Here you can see that at one stage asexual reproduction is written, and in the second stage sexual reproduction is written. First, let us study asexual reproduction. Here you can see that the mycelium is haploid. 1N is written over here. This haploid mycelium will undergo mitosis to form spores, and the spores will then germinate and form the mycelium. So this is asexual reproduction. Let's have a look at sexual reproduction. What happens here? Initially the mycelium will undergo plasmogamy. That means haploid cells from two different mycelia will fuse together to form a heterokaryotic cell. What is a heterokaryotic cell? It means that it has nuclei more than two or more than two. The heterokaryotic cell will form heterokaryotic stage. Then the heterokaryotic stage will undergo karyogamy. That means there will be fusion of the nuclei. And so a diploid zygote is formed. This diploid zygote will then undergo meiosis to form haploid spores. So we can see that spores have been formed. Now these spores will undergo germination process to give rise to a multicellular mycelium. And in this way, the fungi can reproduce sexually as well as asexually. Now let's study the classification of kingdom fungi. The first class is Phycomycetes. These are also known as lower fungi. Members of Phycomycetes are usually found in aquatic habitats or in moist and damp places. They can also be found on decaying wood. Sometimes these fungi can also be observed as obligate parasites on plants. They have mycelium which is aseptate and cynocytic. Asexual reproduction in Phycomycetes takes place by zoospores, which are actually motile spores, or it can also be taken place by aplanospores, which are non-motile spores. These spores are endogenously produced in sporangium. Endogenously means inside the sporangium. Sexual reproduction occurs by the fusion of two gametes. The two gametes can either be similar in morphology, that means they can be isogamous, or they can be dissimilar in morphology, that means they can be either anisogamous or oogamous. Here, when the two gametes combine with each other or fuse with each other, they form a zygospore. Examples of Phycomycetes are Mucor, Rhizopus, that is the bread mold, and Albugo, that is parasitic fungi. Here are some examples of Phycomycetes. Here you can see hair-like structures present on certain objects. The last one is the bread mold. You can see how the hair-like structure has been developed here. Then there is an example of mustard leaf. The fungus has grown on mustard leaf. You can see white spots on the mustard leaf. These are the fungi that has infected this leaf. The next class of fungi is Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes are also known as sac fungi. These are mostly multicellular, for example penicillium, but rarely they can also be unicellular. Example yeast. They are majorly saprophytic, they can be decomposers, they can be parasitic, they can also be coprophilous. Coprophilous means they grow on dung. Their mycelium is branched and it is septate. They bear asexual spores. These are conidia and they are produced exogenously, that means outside, on special mycelium which are known as conidiophores. Conidia on germination will produce a new mycelium. They have sexual spores which are called as ascospores. The ascospores are produced endogenously, that means inside, in a sac-like organ which is known as asci. These asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies. The fruiting bodies are called as ascocarps. Example of these fungi are Aspergillus, Claviceps, Neurospora. Neurospora is extensively used in biochemical and genetic work. And there are many members of these type of fungi like morels and truffles which are actually edible and people consider them as delicacies. So they are used as food. These are some of the examples of Ascomycetes. You can clearly see in the picture the presence of conidiophores. These bear the spores and this is the means by which Ascomycetes reproduce. The next class of fungi is Basidiomycetes. They are commonly known as club fungi because of their shape. Examples of Basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi or puffballs. These organisms grow in soil, they can grow on logs and tree stumps, and they can also live inside the plant bodies as parasites. The example is rust of wheat and smut. Their mycelium is branched and septate. Their asexual spores are generally not found, but instead of asexual reproduction, they can carry out vegetative reproduction by the means of fragmentation. Their sex organs are absent, but still they show plasmogamy. And this plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells which are of different strains or different genotypes. And after the fusion, after the plasmogamy, they form a structure which is dikaryotic. That means the cell contains two nuclei. And this dikaryotic structure ultimately by cell division gives rise to a new organism, that means a new basidium. The two nuclei inside the basidium then undergo karyogamy, that means their nuclei fuse. And after the fusion of nuclei, they undergo meiosis to form 4 basidiospores. These basidiospores are actually produced exogenously, that means outside, on the basidium. The basidia or the basidium is arranged in the fruiting bodies which are called as basidiocarps. Examples of Basidiomycetes are Agaricus, as I said earlier, it's the mushroom. Ustilago, that is smut, and Puccinia, that is the rust fungi. These are the examples of basidiomycetes. The above two, as you can see in the image, have club shape, and that's why the fungus is known as club fungi. The lower two are the parasitic form of basidiomycetes, which cause infectious diseases to the plants. The fourth class of fungi is Deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes fungi is also known as imperfect fungi because they do not have a perfect reproductive stage. They reproduce only by asexual spores or only by vegetative means of reproduction. If the sexual forms of these fungi are discovered, they are moved to another classes. So here, if there is any fungi which reproduces by asexual or vegetative stage, it can be placed under Deuteromycetes, but if there is sexual stage, it is placed under some other class. If the perfect sexual stage of members of Deuteromycetes are discovered, they are often moved to another classes like Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. So here we can conclude that Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores. The names of these spores are Conidia. They have septate mycelium which is branched. Some of the members of Deuteromycetes are saprophytic, some can also be parasitic, while most of them are decomposers of litter and hence they help in mineral recycling. Examples of Deuteromycetes are Alternaria, Colatotrichum and Trichoderma. As you can see in the images, these are the pictures of Deuteromycetes. So here we complete our three kingdoms, that is kingdom Monera, Protista and fungi. Next kingdom is kingdom Plantae. After that we have kingdom Animalia. In this chapter we are not going to do detailed study of kingdom Plantae and Animalia, but we are going to see only few important points. So let's see what is given in kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae include all the eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms which are multicellular. Now these are chlorophyll containing organisms, that means they carry out photosynthesis. That means they can create or they can synthesize their own food. But there are certain members of kingdom Plantae which do not contain chlorophyll and hence they are heterotrophic. They can be insectivorous plants like bladderwort and Venus flytrap, or they can be parasitic forms like Cuscuta. Apart from them, rest all plants are chlorophylltic in nature, that means they possess chlorophyll. The plant cells have eukaryotic structure and they have prominent chloroplast. The cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose. In the Plantae kingdom, we are going to study about 5 classes: algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm. The life cycle of plants is divided into 2 distinct phases. First is the sporophytic phase, which is diploid in nature, and next is the haploid gametophytic phase. Plants show alternation of generation between both these phases. That means they have haploid lifestyle alternating with diploid lifestyle. We are going to see further details in chapter number 3. After Plantae, we have the 5th kingdom, which is kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia include all the heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. The characteristics of the members of kingdom Animalia are: they are multicellular organisms and they are available in various sizes. They do not have a cell wall, that means they lack cell wall. They don't have chloroplast in them because they are non-photosynthetic, so they directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. They have a well-developed organ system like skeletal system, circulatory system, respiratory system and many other. They digest their food in an internal cavity and store the food as glycogen or fat. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They have well-developed locomotory organs. They have different respiratory organs like gills, book lungs, book gills. They can also respire by skin and some can respire by lungs. They have membrane-bound cell organelles with nucleus bounded by a nuclear membrane. Circulation occurs via blood, blood vessels and heart. Reproduction occurs by the formation of haploid gametes. The fusion of gametes give rise to a diploid organism. Most of the animals have kidneys as their main excretory organs. Higher forms show elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanism. The sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female, which is followed by embryological development. Further features according to different phyla are being described in chapter number 4. Apart from the organisms that have been included in the 5 kingdoms, there are certain organisms which do not have any mention in any of the 5 kingdoms given by Whitaker. These organisms are viruses, viroids, prions and lichens. So now let us study about viruses. We all have suffered the ill effects of common cold, which is also known as flu, and we have heard it from many people that this is viral flu. That means viruses exist around us and they have not been included in the 5 kingdom of classification. The reason for this is viruses do not have a cell, a proper cell, so they are called as acellular organisms. Viruses can also be called as connecting link between living and non-living, and we do not know whether they are truly living or not. Viruses, when they are outside the living cell, they are simply an inert crystalline structure. But when they enter the host cell, they take the machinery of the host cell and start replicating themselves, and therefore they are living. Now the name virus means venom or poisonous fluid. The name virus has been given by Dmitri. In the year 1892, Ivanovsky studied the tobacco plant and he observed that tobacco plant had a mosaic disease. After further studies, he recognized certain organisms which were responsible for this. Then he tried to study them by using bacteria-proof filters. When he started studying them, he found that these organisms can easily pass through the bacteria-proof filters. M.W. Bijerinek in the year 1898 tried to carry out an experiment in which he used the extract of infected plants of tobacco. He found that this extract can cause infection in healthy plants, and therefore he called the fluid, the extract, as Contagium vivum fluidum. That means infectious living fluid. W. M. Stanley in the year 1935 showed that viruses could be crystallized and the crystals consist largely of proteins. That means when they are outside the specific host cell, they are only proteins. In order to be living, they have to find a host. That means they are obligate parasites. In addition to proteins, they also contain a genetic material. It can be either RNA or DNA. No virus contains both RNA and DNA. So we can say that a virus is only a nucleoprotein and the genetic material inside the virus is actually the infectious substance. Generally, viruses of plants have single-stranded RNA. Viruses of animals have single or double-stranded RNA, or they can have double-stranded DNA. There are certain viruses which actually infect the bacteria, known as bacteriophages, and they usually have double-stranded RNA. The protein coat of viruses is called as capsid, which is made up of many small subunits known as capsomers. These capsomers are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometric forms. The function of the capsomers or the capsid is to actually protect the nucleic acids. Viruses can cause many diseases like mumps, smallpox, herpes, influenza, AIDS. AIDS is caused by HIV, that is human immunodeficiency virus. Viruses can also cause diseases in plants like mosaic formation, leaf rolling, curling, yellowing and vein clearing, dwarfing, stunted growth. These are some of the symptoms caused by viral diseases. The following images show the structure of viruses. Here you can see the presence of capsid, that is the cover, and the nucleoprotein or the genetic material that is present inside it. These are the different shapes, the geometric shapes of the capsids of virus: helical, polyhedral, spherical and complex. There are certain organisms which are even smaller than viruses. Example, viroids and prions. In the year 1971, T.O. Diener discovered a new infectious agent that was smaller than viruses, and it caused potato spindle tuber disease. This was found to be only free RNA. It did not have any protein coat like virus, and therefore the name viroid was given. Another organisms are prions. In modern medicine, certain infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisting of abnormally folded protein. And this was also smaller in size to viruses, or some of them were similar to viruses. These were called as prions. The most notable disease caused by prions are bovine spongiform encephalopathy disease, that is BSE. It is also called as mad cow disease in cattle. And the same variant, that is analogous variant, is CR Jacob disease, that is CJD in humans. Next are the lichens. Lichens are symbiotic associations. That means there is a mutual association between two organisms. The two organisms are algae and fungi. There is an algal component and there is a fungal component. Algal component is known as phycobiont, whereas fungal component is known as mycobiont. The algal component is autotrophic in nature and therefore it prepares food for the fungal component. And the fungal component is heterotrophic in nature. The function of the fungi is to absorb mineral nutrients and water for algae. So they have a close relationship. Their association is seen as a single organism, and nobody can make out that they are actually two different organisms. Lichens are very good pollution indicators. That means they do not grow in polluted areas. And with this topic, we complete chapter number 2 of 11th standard biology. I hope you all have understood the chapter, and if you have any doubts, you can contact me and you can solve your problems. Till that, stay home, stay safe and take care. Keep studying. Thank you.